Blog Talk Radio.
Losing Your Parents International Radio Show, broadcasting from Portland, Oregon. My name is Lisa A. Snyder, and I lost both of my parents to cancer when I was in my 20s. After being present for their illnesses and being a witness to their deaths, I had to face life as a young person without them. I had to find strength and comfort in my own life and learn how to cope with and deal with life and all of the strange occurrences and confusion and weird feelings that come along with it. Along this journey, I found a lot of tools and resources which I've collected over time, and I definitely want to share with you, anybody who wants to move forward in their lives and not be stuck in the mud of grief. I'm 33 years old right now. I write and I talk about my journey through healing, my grief, and working through life's challenges using creativity, self-expression, experimenting, and the like. My blog is losingyourparents.org. And my goal is to bridge the gap between grief and joy every possible opportunity. If you'd like to get in touch, you can contact me on my website, losingyourparents.org/contact. I also have a sister site, griefpost.com. It's totally anonymous self-expression, so you can go there if you just want to share whatever's on your mind. I'm really excited to share with you that 2 weeks ago I had uploaded a meditation that is available for download on my website. You can check it out, .ly/IWillBeOK, or if you just go to my website, losingyourparents.org, on the homepage, there's a big picture there of the meditation. You can listen to a preview. I hope that this helps people in some small way just be able to have some calm and some peace. It's about 10 minutes long. And if you want to try and download it and try it out, I would love your feedback. You can get 50% off now using coupon podcast at checkout. That's bit.ly/IWillBeOK. And if you do end up downloading it, I would really love your feedback. Let me know if it helped you, if it didn't help you. I do plan on doing some more meditations in the future, as I do feel like meditating is a really positive way of being able to ground and center yourself. So please let me know if you end up downloading it and you have feedback. Let me know. losingyourparents.org/contact. Last week we talked about flashbacks. I also talked a little bit about my wedding that I'm semi-freaking out about planning. And today we're going to talk about feelings and how to feel them all the way through to completion. So I'm definitely not like a psychologist. I'm not, a professional in the field. I'm a human. I'm a human in the world. I'm a human who has had loss, and I'm a human who has had to figure out what to do with weird feelings. And weird feelings could be, I'm sort of grouping them and using the word weird, but anything that feels uncomfortable, anything that feels unpleasant. And I think this world is constantly bouncing around with unpleasant feelings: anger, resentment, disappointment, not feeling loved, not feeling appreciated. Like, there are so many feelings in the body that we try to, but we're not really sure what's going on. We just know we're feeling uncomfortable, and I've been trying to do some experiments on myself to see what is it that I'm feeling? What does it feel like in the body? How do I even be quiet enough with myself to listen to those feelings and vibrations in my body? And then on top of it, how do I put words on what that feels like? And do I choose to share that information with other people? So this is really interesting. I think that people hide their feelings all the time, which I think is incredibly bizarre, But I think if we felt our feelings all the way to completion and were like very expressive about those feelings, that the world would be very chaotic. And there's a lot of people that express their anger constantly. So I'm trying to find my own way, and I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'm doing with myself in order to figure out how to navigate feelings, because I feel like that's part of the reason why we're all here is because we chose to, as souls, be here in the human experience and to feel feelings. Every single human has feelings. I think the only people that don't have feelings are sociopaths and psychopaths, and I get the two confused. I know there's a difference, but and even they have feelings of like wanting something, so they have feelings. Everybody has feelings. That is the truth. Can we sort of agree on that? That everybody has feelings, everyone has thoughts, and what do we do with those things? They're very, very bizarre things. They feel weird. I really like happy feelings. They feel really lighthearted. I explained to my friend Callie the other day that I feel like when I feel close to people, I have like a little bird inside me that's like a little yellow canary or something. It's like flapping its wings, and it's very happy, and it feels very light. And in my chest region, it feels like expansive and like you can breathe. I like feeling like that. That's how I'd like to feel more often than not. And honestly, I do. I feel happy more often than not. And I have gone through deep, deep, deep depressions and sadnesses and grief and misery and self-loathing and lots of things. And I'm not going to pretend that that never happens anymore, but I've done a lot of work on this side to get to a place where I'm noticing, wow, I don't feel very comfortable or happy right now, so what can I do inside, and what can I have control over inside myself to change that feeling? So I'm constantly and very, very, maybe not constantly, I shouldn't say that. I'm often noticing how I'm feeling and what to do about it, and I feel lucky enough to have the time and space to do that. I work from home, so I'm not in an office space where I have to be subjected to other people constantly. I go out in the world when I choose to, and I'm very choosy about where I spend my time and my energy because, I think we're all sensitive beings, and if we had some more control over who we spend time with and how, then we will be happier, because I don't want to be around people who are one-sided. I don't have the energy to be around people who are just talk at you and never want to know more about you, or talk at you and never aren't really exchanging energy. I sort of have come to this realization lately that I need energy exchanges with people. And so I guess I'm sharing that with you because this is all part of my own journey of feelings, and some of the things that I've been feeling lately, interesting. It's interesting to be a witness to the ripple effects inside your body. So I've been doing some experiments. My brother and his family came to visit me for the first time. It's something I've been wanting for a really long time, is to be living close enough where we can have like we can see each other more, and my niece and my nephew, I could see them more, and we finally made that happen. He drove to my house. It took about 12 hours to drive from Montana to Portland, and we spent a couple days together just doing as much as possible. And it's interesting because I don't spend a lot of time with like family, like blood family. Like I don't have blood family here. My parents are gone, and I don't have that like emotional connection to someone and their approval or anything like that anymore. And then I have other family that lives all over the country, but we don't see each other. So it's very, very different. Like I don't have blood family in my life, and it's weird. Like I have chosen family. I have friends that are family. Catherine is my family. And so when they kind of came into my world for a couple days, I did some prep work. I did some, quiet time because I knew it wouldn't be quiet. So I was like, I need to just sort of sit with myself a little bit more. And there were some things that came up that I felt like were think, what if I could visualize feelings, like assign a visual to them so that I can make sense of them. So what I started to do is try on what it felt like to be water, which is interesting because we are like mostly water. I don't know what the percentage is, but we're mostly water. And what if I visualized my inner energy field as water, and when it feels like, someone's sticking a toe in the water and moving it around versus flicking it or throwing a stone in it. If you visualize someone flicking water, what do you think of? I think of a finger, in like kind of looks like the OK symbol, like flicking water and having it abruptly change the ripples in the water. So it goes from being still to having many ripples. And so in a conversation the other night, someone told me something that I wasn't really sort of ready to hear or open to hearing, or I just didn't expect it. And I felt very open and very vulnerable. And when they told me what they told me, I felt that ripple. I felt like there was a flick in the water. I felt like there was a ripple effect inside me, and I tried to feel it. And my default, my entire life, has been to completely ignore it, to pretend that that feeling doesn't exist, to pretend that that ripple doesn't exist, or hold on and feel it later. Like, just be strong and be kind of like a stone and feel it later. And something's happened to me where I'm either doing a lot of work and able to sort of get to the place of feeling stuff closer to when it happens, or I don't know. I don't know what the other or is. But something I'm doing is working, because I can't tell you how long stuff goes. In the past, stuff has gone on where I waited to feel stuff for weeks. Weeks later, I would stuff feelings down. And I can't say that doesn't happen anymore, because I think that this world is really very, very wild, and it has a lot of violence, emotional and energetic violence that happens, and we have to protect ourselves. But the other night I felt safe enough to like feel, and I was like, whoa, like I kind of felt like someone slapped me in the face. Not like that's a slap in the face, but like physically I felt like someone slapped me in the face. Inside my body I felt that ripple effect, like if someone flicked the water. And I just sat there with it, and I just felt it, and I felt it as if it were like a little vibration inside me that was eventually and hopefully going to go away. So I just sat with it. It was painful. I didn't like it. I didn't want to feel it at all. I felt a little bit invulnerable even feeling it in front of this other person. Like I'd rather just kind of crawl in a corner and feel instead of being in front of somebody. But I just sat with it. I sat with it, and I sat with it. And I did notice also that after sitting with it for a few minutes, I wanted to get away from the feeling. And I thought that physically getting away from the person might be helpful to not feel that feeling anymore, which is interesting. Like, why would that be helpful? I don't know. Maybe so I can have like a moment to myself or some quiet time or whatever. And so actually I just continued to sit with it. And I wanted to get out of the car. I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. And I wanted the moment to be over. And part of me was like a little girl, and I just kind of wanted to go home. And I was like, you know what? This is not a big deal. Just sit with it. Just sit with it. And so we got out of the car and we started moving. And that was a little helpful. It helped to move the energy forward, not the feeling all the way through. I thought, this is during my experimenting, I thought getting out of the car and moving my body forward up the block, and us going for a walk would be helpful to get the energy out. But in reality, I didn't feel my feelings all the way through. I felt them, but I didn't allow them to complete. And so there's a difference there. I think there are feelings that we repeatedly feel again and again and again and again. Why is that? Is it because we're addicted to that feeling? Is it because we didn't feel it all the way through? So I just was experimenting, and we ended up going to a bar and sitting across from each other at the bar, and I just noticed that I still felt a little uncomfortable, a little angry, a little vulnerable, a little bit like, wow, I just don't want to be here right now. And what I wanted to do was to want to be there. So how do I get from not wanting to be there to wanting to be there? Let's see. So luckily, my friend was open to processing a little bit with me, and I used the terms, can I take some stuff out of the box here? Like I don't know what's going on, but can I just take some stuff out of the box? Can we just do that? And, she agreed. And I got to the bottom of the feeling. Where was the feeling coming from? Why was I feeling offended? Why was I feeling uncomfortable, And I guess I should just tell you the context because I think it'll be helpful, but it was so tiny and small. So my friend told me that in that moment I was talking too loud and all this stuff came up for me, not speaking my mind. I don't ever get to say what I want. Like all this weird stuff came up, being a woman in the world and all this weird stuff came up in this context, and she's like, it doesn't happen all the time, it's just right now, or tonight or whatever. And I just thought it was weird, is this ripples from my family being here and everyone being loud? Is it ripples from we were just in a loud restaurant? Am I excited? What kind of self-awareness did I not have where I didn't realize how loudly I was talking? Is she feeling sensitive? So when I was in the restaurant, I was unpacking this, and I was like, wow, what is under the surface? And after taking several things sort of out of the box, out of this imaginary box of feelings of I told her about, being a woman in the world and all my weird stuff I have about speaking up and speaking my mind and sharing feelings because I've stuffed them down my whole life and all these things. What came up for me was, a fear that we wouldn't be friends anymore. That was the ultimate deep, dark feeling and the root system of the feeling. And I was blown away once I got down to the root of, wow, this is actually a fear of not being friends anymore. And I kind of gave her an example. And because I don't have words for feelings sometimes, and I don't think a lot of us do. We just feel. So what I am better at is using my hands to show off how I'm feeling. And so the visual that I kept getting, and then I was like, I'm going to try this on, was an infinity loop. And I took my pointer finger with my right hand, and I was making an infinity loop. And I was like, I really want to be close with you. And I feel like we kind of go like this, and I was making a very tight infinity loop. And I said, recently I've been feeling like this, and the loop got bigger and longer and wider. We're still friends, to infinity, but the loop was long and wide, and there was something uncomfortable about that. And I was like, you know what it is? I feel like I'm over here, and I don't know if it's going to loop again, and I'm scared that it's not going to. And that was huge. I suddenly felt immense relief, immense amounts of stress released from my body. I felt like I could breathe. I felt like that little canary bird was chirping again. I was like, oh my God, this is it. When you get to the point where you can figure out what the root system of your feelings are, or one particular feeling, you get further than you've ever been before in that feeling and everything that comes after that. all the information that comes after that. And, sometimes there are people you can feel completely with, or sometimes you can do this work on your own. I've done some of this work on my own, and I was lucky enough to have someone on the other side who was open to and enjoys processing feelings and stuff. So if you have somebody like that, even if it's a therapist, and you don't have a friend or a family member you can do this with, try it with a therapist. Try it by yourself. Just try and figure out, take stuff out of the box. And, what does that mean? It means take some of these feelings out and talk your way through. What is it that I'm feeling? How does it feel inside my body? There's a great person that I worked with. Her name is Deb, and she does, conscious leadership here in Portland. And I learned from her, really, that she's so good at locating where the feelings are inside her body and then saying them, being like, ooh, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I just feel like my throat's really tight and the back of my neck hurts a little bit, and I know that my shoulders, they're kind of scrunching up a little bit. It's about being self-aware and being able and capable of getting in touch with your body and being like, body, what's going on? Your body will tell you everything it needs to know. Your intuition will tell you everything you need to know if you listen. You have to be able and open to listening to what your body is telling you, because it's an information highway. It's more than a highway. I couldn't figure out what kind of words I wanted to use for that, but there's a lot of stuff going on in there. Your body uses all kinds of information to do things while you're not even paying attention. Your cells are doing things. Your blood is doing things. Your heart is doing things. Your lungs are breathing. All these things are happening. It's a very, very, very smart thing. It's a miracle that we are alive, and there's a lot of stuff going on. And so feelings are part of this system, and I think that feelings are one of the most difficult things to understand as a human being and to navigate, because they're so complex and your body feels them so much. And I don't think that we really, as humans, know what to do with them. Some people do, and I don't know what the answer is for you. I think everyone's a little bit different. I always kind of go back to creative energies of painting and writing and self-expression and, using your iPhone to talk and finding your way through feelings in whatever way that is. So to find your feelings medium, I ask you, what do you need to tune in a little bit more to yourself? Are you aware of your feelings at all? Do you want to be aware of your feelings? If you want to be aware of your feelings more often, what kind of quiet places can you find to do that? I often also go to physically getting out and moving, a walk in the woods or on a trail somewhere, a bike ride, going to the gym. These things can kind of stir up feelings and let you feel stuff all the way through. Exercise is great because it gives you sort of what I call free drugs. It's just those endorphins and those feel-good things, and it helps you to move through energy, because feelings are energy. You have to let them in, and once you let them in, I think that we're scared that they'll never go away. But you have to be committed to feeling them all the way through to completion. So I encourage you to experiment this week and the coming weeks, however often you want to playing around with what am I feeling? What does it feel like in my body? And try to put some words there. Last night, we were having a conversation about stuff, and I just felt really blocked, and I just felt like I physically needed to get away, and so therefore I did. I physically left the dinner table and then laid down on the couch, and because I thought that would sort of resolve my feelings. It did start the process of me being able to feel stuff, and I was I just closed my eyes and I was what's going on? And I visualized not the water or the ripples or the the pings, but I visualized a brick wall, and then I was hiding behind it, and I was building it. And I was like, oh, like this is a pattern of like hiding behind a brick wall. I think we do that a lot. I think everyone is guilty of doing that. That's okay. That's normal. We're all little children running around in adult bodies, trying to find our way in the world, and especially when we don't have parents, there's some childlike stuff that will creep up, and you have to be nice to her or him. You have to be nice to that little child that's like, I'm feeling stuff. Next time you see a baby out in the world crying, they're outwardly expressing their feelings. Or a cranky baby, they're outwardly expressing their feelings. They don't know how to put up that brick wall. They don't know how to put up that boundary. They don't have it yet. You know, we're taught to put up boundaries around feelings. We're taught to be quiet. We're taught to be self-sufficient in that way, and that we're taught that feelings aren't good things. And that's definitely something that I learned along the way, and I want to unlearn it. And that's the only way that we're going to move forward in this life, is if we notice things that don't work for us anymore and unlearn them. It seems like it's hard work, but if you want it, if you want to change, it's easy. I would love your feedback if you got anything from this talk today, and if you end up doing some experiments with yourself, if you end up doing some feelings work, if you've had some kind of discovery or epiphany, or something inside you has changed for the better, I'd love to hear about it. You can email me. You can go to losingyourparents.org/contact, and I would really love to hear your feedback. Very thankful for your time and energy today, and I hope you have a good rest of your day wherever you are in the world. And just remember, you have to feel to heal. Take care.